Good morning from Sweden. So this is this morning's I Ching reading, where we are looking at the energies around us and getting advice on how to best navigate them in order to have the smoothest and most joyous day forward as possible. Now, some days are more troublesome than others, but we can always try to navigate them in the best way possible. So I hope you are well today, and we are starting as usual by grounding ourselves. So root yourself down into the surface below. If you're sitting on a chair, if you're sitting on the floor, so place your buttocks heavily onto the chair or the surface below you. Feet planted on the floor as well. Connect to the surface below. If you are walking whilst listening to this one, make sure every step is very conscious and that you're connecting to the earth below you with each step. Feeling tree roots growing from the soles of your feet into Mother Earth, connecting to the heart of the Mother Earth, feeling the pulse. And as you breathe in, the stomach expands, and as you breathe out, the stomach contracts. So you're breathing into the stomach, using the diaphragm to breathe. So you often, or most often, we're actually doing very shallow breathing. And then we're not using the full capacity of our lungs, so we're not actually releasing old stale air, and they're sort of still stuck at the bottom of the lungs, and then we're not filling the lungs with fresh air. We're not as much as we can. And then also the movement of breathing, if you're using all the muscles in the chest and in the stomach area and the diaphragm as well, we are getting a movement in the body as well. And the diaphragm, when it's being used, it is softening as well, because it's quite tight on most of us because we're not using it very well. And it softens, and when it moves, it presses down as we breathe in on the organs below, and as we breathe out, it sort of lifts up, and this gives this organ a massage as well. Even our organs, like everything, is surrounded by fascia. Fascia is this connective tissue that keeps us together, and it's got many types of fascia. But through the fascia, signals are traveling, and in the fascia is also our trauma is being stored as well when we go through things in the tightness. So quite often when we have tightness in muscles, it sits in the fascia. And when this gets hardened, the body can't function as it should do, right? So with our breath, we can help to soften the fascia around our organs and get this movement throughout the body that helps our body to live in the most efficient way, in the way it's supposed to live. And as you breathe into the stomach, the energy center is called the lower dantian, expands. It's right in the center of you, just a little bit below the navel, a little bit in. It's like a little energy center, expands, and as you breathe out, it contracts. And as you breathe in, you can feel a rising movement in the spine, rising into the base of your skull. And this actually makes your chin tilt inwards a little bit. Not a great movement, but just slight. And as you breathe out, you sink down into the surface below you, into the seat below you, becoming heavier and heavier. And then as you breathe in, you get this rising movement. But these are just micro movements. The spine remains rising towards the sky, even when you breathe out, although in a more relaxed way. Or this or movement is relaxed despite the rising is rising in a relaxed state. So there's no tightness and there's no tension here. Okay, so let's check the hexagram of today. So how are the energies around us today, and how do we best navigate them in order to have the smoothest and most joyous way forward possible? Heaven, earth, fire, water, thunder, wind, wood, mountain, lake. So we've got fire. So we've got fiery energy today. So fire below, so heating. So flames of fire rises, like warmth rises. Heat rises, right? There's a rising energy below the inner. It's a warming, illuminating energy. So how, let's take the outer. How are the energies around us today, and how do we best navigate them in order to have the smoothest and most joyous way forward today? Heaven, earth, fire, water, thunder, wind, wood, mountain, lake. So we got lake, that's water. It's lots of water accumulated in the lake. Lake speaks of joy, right? Joy rising from a calm, innocent, cultivated center of you, right? True joy that we can share with the world. And then it looks like this. 1 yin. So we've got 2 yin, 4 yang. So li. And then do it lake over fire. So lake is sinking, right? It's like this water is sinking. But we've got the fire that's heating the water as well. So let's have a look. Take 2 coins away. We're going to look at the changing line and then see where in the process of this diagram we are more specifically what it's changing into. So we've got the first 9, second 6, third 9, fourth 9, fifth 9. I think I put one. Maybe we don't have changing one today. Or do we? Am I just not seeing correctly? Right. No, it's the first 9. Sorry, look at that. I just can't see it. I need to make this dot more prominent. I just can't see it. I really need to put like a more bright color than this little faint black one. I couldn't see it from the side. So it's the first 9, which is changing into jin, then yin, not a jin. Yin. It's not changing into jin. Okay, so we get mountain. So lake over mountain. So we've got mountain rising out of the lake. Sorry about that. My voice just went funny. So we've got again. So mountain is a very, very stable energy. Lake is also talking about stability within, right? Cultivating the stability within, confidence and peace and compassion and love, and then we can radiate that to the surface, and then it becomes joy, and then we can share that with the world. And then let's have a look at the approach Gua, which it is 1 yin, so it's wind, and then Qian, so it's all, so wind under heaven, or heaven over wind, so sun. That was the table. sounding like that. So we've got a warm lake. Let's have a look. And then we've got a mountain rising out of the lake. It's a lot of cultivating our inner joy. And also Li, which is fire, it's like illuminating, like opening, when you've got the sunset or you've got illumination, something putting a fire is sort of allowing us to see more clearly. So we see clearly today with the cultivating our inner stability to radiate joy. Okay, so this is important today, to remain calm and peaceful within, so not getting triggered by others. And then with actually being able to see clearly, then we can see sometimes that, you know, sometimes we get very upset about the actions of others when it's very ignorant. So if you look at somebody who's people who are following a leader that is very toxic, and then these people are also becoming toxic, right? And this could be in a small gathering, or it could be like on a world scene, right? It could be just within a family dynamic, like it could be very small, it could be in a couple. Couple that could be like a very toxic partner, and the other one is following that one, and despite being abused, right, keep staying with this partner. And you can stand outside and look at this and going, why can't you see this? And you get upset with this person for staying because maybe you love this person that is with this abusive partner. And this goes like with any toxic energy, like it could be in large groups, like in very toxic groups of people where they got a leader, but when you are within this dynamic, you do not see, right? You do not see that this person does not mean well, that you see what you want to see. Really, in the beginning you might have listened to the words, because very often these type of people seem very kind and very illuminated and very, you know, on the surface, right? But then when you look at the core, that's not the truth. So this is where we need to illuminate and actually see clearly. Okay, hang on, is this leader that I'm following of a good heart, right? Is this person that I'm listening to, is it of a good heart? And then also if you stand outside, then you actually do see, and you get really frustrated with these people that are not seeing, and you just you get angry with them. Also, this is where we need to build compassion for them as well, and not being angry with them because they are in darkness. They cannot see, they are victims as well. Although they might actually cause a lot of problems, even to you or people that you love, or to the planet, but that's through ignorance. So if you are in this type of dynamic, then you need to sort of cultivate your inner peace, right? Because you are seeing clearly, so you need to cultivate your inner peace in order so you can continue radiate joy rather than, and then from there take action, right? From peace and clarity, take action. So this is where we are. So this is what we need to do. Because when we're angry, our minds become clouded, and then when we take action from anger, then we are most likely doing the wrong action, right? Something that might even make the situation even worse, right? So peaceful center allows us to see clearly and have a clear mind, so we can make more appropriate choices, and then can actually remedy the situation more quickly. Okay. We've got the stability rising over the lake. Now, this is my interpretation. Let's see what the actual book says. Let's have a look. So, Dui, or the I Ching text, the King Wen. What he's saying, for example, the Dui over Li, which is fire, which is 49. 49. And then do it again, which is 31. And then we got this approach, the hidden. This is not entirely here, which is Qian and Sun. It's a lot of, see, we look at, there's a lot of yang, but what we're moving into is more of a balanced yin-yang situation. But at the moment, there's lots of yang, and underlying is yang. And yesterday, we had the hexagram taking action, which is like it's a movement, and that's thunder over thunder, which is a primary gua. Now let's have that. Qian is heaven, and then Sun, wind over under heaven. So 44. 44. Wind is an action, but it's more gentle. It's like a gentle movement. While thunder is more explosive, more shocking, right? It gives shock and it clears a lot of. While this Sun is more of a gentle movement under heaven here. So let's have a look. 49. It's abolishing the old. Abolishing the old, yeah. So we're leaving still in this. Still in this energy of letting go what's old, okay? What's old patterns. We're cultivating our new, our virtues. Mutual influence is about, which is 31. Let's see the again, mutual. It's about listening to each other, right? And then we're both influencing both and encountering, okay? And encountering, which is under encountering. So I feel like today is about relationships, which moves into here. That we need to, actually what I spoke about a little bit. So we are in this energy that we need to abolish the old, like old patterns of allowing this anger to rise within us, and then taking, the wrong action rather than taking like an action from wisdom, because we are just rushing in because we are angry. So we need to continue cultivating our inner peace, our virtues. And actually it talks about a revolution, but it's more of it's not a crazy revolution. It's more a revolution that happens from within. And we're making a resolution here as well, to say, okay, now this is it, right? I'm not continue behaving in this way or reacting in this way, right? I am continuing to cultivate this inner peace within me so that I can become better, so I can help remedy situations better in the future. And I'm not going to be triggered by everything that's going on around us, okay? So alternate, to change, to innovate. Encompass revolution in the sense of abolishing the old and making way for the new. So unless we leave our old patterns, everything behind, right? We are the old one. We are going to keep on repeating the same thing over again. We're going to keep on doing the same thing. We're going to be stuck in the same cycle, or we're going to a new cycle, but it's going to be exactly the same as the previous cycle. We need to leave our old behaviors behind in order to be able to move into the new year, the more peaceful, the more compassionate, the more understanding you. Right? And the more understand we need to move is us, really, more than you. These readings I started to do for myself. Now I'm sharing them out here. So it's all this advice that I get from the I Ching as I understand it. Now I'm a student of the I Ching. Okay, so you need to use your discernment and take what resonates and leave what doesn't, okay? and take it. I am no way any sort of expert on this, but this is actually started off with advice for me, right? And then now I'd like to share it with someone else or everyone else that might be benefiting from it. Okay. Let's have a look. So this is the image of a hide. So there's an animal skin. It hurts my heart. It does, because I don't approve of any type of abuse of any living being, really. But this is what it is. And this is what people have been doing throughout all the years. Anyway, there's a skin stretch out in the sun to dry. So it's a lake above, fire below. Lake contains water, which is extinguishing fire. Fire in turn is able to dry up water. Water and fire overcome each other. This phenomenon oh wow, that was difficult to say. So just a picture of revolution, abolishing the old. So in balance, like water will heat the lake, so it's a warm lake, right, to swim in. It's beautiful. But when it's too much, it would just put out the fire and it becomes really cold. And then if the fire is too much, it will dry out the water, right? So in balance, they are helping each other. Like if we heat water, we can cook food, beautiful food in it that we can eat, right? But we don't want to burn down our house, for example. So we don't want too much fire. And then too much water will just dampen everything. So let's have a look at the decision here. Okay. So this is it's talking about diversity, which is another hexagram, and it's also got fire. It's fire above lake, so it's the other one. It's the other way around, diversity. So then you've got fire rising and lake is sinking, right? So then it's being diversion, you know, and it's talking about so they are incompatible with each other, like fire and water. Each of them tries to change the other, and each of them does not allow the other one to change herself. And this is also talking about revolution as well. There's something that is not in line here. But this one seems like it's more opposite. That's diversion we're talking about. This one is more opposite. It's more like it actually can work together if they are in balance, right? The diversity is separating because they're going in different directions. So there is no meeting there, right? In this here, the underlying energy we got here is encountering, which is like meeting somebody, right, instead. So here is also speaking about like them in balance. The water and the fire actually create something like a warm water that we can swim and wash in or cook food in and stuff. Proper day, upon it obtain confidence from people, supremely prosperous and smooth, favorable to be steadfast and upright, regret vanishes. Okay, remain truthfully you. Again, do not hide behind masks or anything. You don't have to hide yourself. You don't have to have this different mask for different people. So supremely prosperous and smooth. This is a good day. So proper day, upon it obtain confidence from people. So today you can make great influence, right? And gather the right people around you. And then by being truthfully you. And, you know, although we see somebody doing something wrong, we do not go and talk behind their back or anything like that. We are influencing people by being the one we are and being a great influence. And that comes from kindness, okay? So we are not focusing on what's bad. We are focusing on what's good and how we can share goodness to the world, right? So we might have to put up boundaries towards something that is not as good. It might be toxic and we don't want to have that in our life, but we're not going and pointing fingers at it. We're not saying that's not good, look at that, you know, we're not doing that. But we're putting up strong boundaries and saying, okay, I don't want that in my life, but we don't have to speak about it. And then we're influencing people by lifting them up, right? So, and this is also like, so boundaries towards what we don't want, and then allowing, receiving in goodness, right? The right people. And this might be leaders that we get advice from, and it might be more junior people that we can help guide, and there might be our equals, right? That we would just give and take, but it's always a giving and taking, okay? So let's have a look. It should be giving and taking, always. Abolishing the old, water and fire destroy each other. Two daughters live together, but their minds are not in chorus. This is called revolution. Proper day, upon it obtain confidence from people. When the revolutionary tempest break out, faith will accord with it. Okay, so we are abolishing the old. So we're leaving the old behind, right? Because we're in a situation where we are not where we shouldn't be, okay? But we're not doing this. We're doing a revolution, but we're not doing it with hatred. We're surrounding ourselves with the right people. So receiving the right people, encountering the correct people, and then using mutual influence within this grouping where we can sort of create something good. It might be that we might have to get out on the streets and demonstrate or whatever it is, to put our boundaries and saying that's not good. Right? But it has to come from wisdom and love, always wisdom and love I want to make this better. How can I make this better? How can I help, right? Never from a point of, oh, I need to look good. Oh, I hope if I'm a great leader, here I am, looking really good. That's the wrong intention, okay? Enlightened intelligence makes people joyful. Enlightened intelligence makes people joyful. Here, enlighten, brightness, clearing. We can see clear. And when we can see clear, we can, and we've got this solid center coming from, then we become joyful, right? And then we can help other people with that as well. Great success comes from justice. Since the revolution is proper, all regret disappears. Yeah, so this is really talking about taking a stance, right? But it has to be a just stance. And with that, coming from the right intention, right? It cannot be just for our own selfish gain, right? Doing things just for our own selfish gains. This is really through justice. It is for the benefit of all sentient beings. So we eliminate. Enlightened intelligence makes people joyful, and then it also makes us smart, makes us wise, and then allows us to take great steps forward in the correct direction, away from the old and then towards the new. And this seed that we've set for this month of February, which is the overall theme, you can look at the February reading, which is initiating. This is the beginning of any creation. Okay. Heaven and earth abolish the old and bring out the new. Then the four seasons complete their changes. Tang and Wu abolished the old and brought about the new. They obeyed the will of heaven in accord with the wishes of people. The time and meaning of abolishing the old is truly great. So what is it that you need to abolish? Is it a situation? Is it your patterns in life? How you approach things? Is it leaving behind old regrets and sorrows and ways of responding or reacting to things? Or is it really you need to leave a place? Like I'm moving out of an apartment in 2.5 weeks. Going on the road more so. So I'm not just abolishing old patterns, I'm also abolishing my place of living and abolishing the way I'm living. So there can be many dimensions to this, right? So think about that, and then think about, like, really look at the situation, and then from there decide the next step, right? And then make sure that you bring people with you. So this is actually mutual influence, right? It's not you storming forward, like, it's everyone around you as well. So you need to have this mutual influence and take the next step. So maybe you need to discuss this with the people you've got around you. Maybe you've got a team at work. You need to sort of decide on how to move forward, or, you know, take advice as well from people if you feel unsure. And even if you don't feel unsure, it's always good to listen. Oh, people talk so much. I say whilst just talking non-stop right now, but people talk so much and they don't listen very often. We don't watch, we don't listen, we don't take in, right? And we're just rushing forward and just saying things. Words very often have no depth because they come from just talking, not from what, you know, wanting to share our wisdom, because we've not listened. So if you don't listen, then we cannot speak wise words. So it's better to listen more times or longer times than speaking, okay? Commentary on the symbol: fire in the midst of a lake, an image of abolishing the old. In correspondence with this, the superior person watches the changes of the planets and sets the calendar in order, making the time of the seasons clear. So it's talking about timing, and there's been a lot about this last few days about timing, okay? And this is, yeah, if you find the right time to do something, it is, you need to listen and watch and see and then feel, using your intuition. And then also your knowledge. Is this the time for the next move? Maybe it isn't right now, which is the right time. Maybe I have to wait a little bit, or maybe I need to talk to these people, or maybe I have to do whatever. But also on the other side, we shouldn't postpone for too long either, right? Sometimes we have to take the step, and we might be scared to do it. And then when we are scared to take a step that we know that we have to take, right? And then we were so fearful, so we keep on making excuses not to take this step. We just make them up and think, oh, but I don't have enough knowledge and I don't have it, blah, blah, blah. And then we don't take this step. And that's not correct either, right? Sometimes we just have to work through the fear. And fear is this part. Now, this is lake, but the lake is full of water, right? So it's associated with imbalanced water element, and the kidneys as well. So we might, if we feel fearful, we can breathe into the kidneys, bringing our presence into the kidneys, and we can breathe in this dark blue, almost black color into the kidneys with each breath in. And then as you breathe out, you can breathe out the word Tway. And releasing imbalances in the kidneys with the breath out. So breathe in, filling the kidneys with this dark blue, almost black color. And then breathing out, feeling the vibration in the kidneys and loosening them up, and releasing fear, transmuting the fear into courage to take this next step, okay? So let's have a look at the changing line, which is the first initial line. Bound with the hide of a yellow ox. Bound with the hide of a yellow ox. One should not take action in such circumstances. Yeah, this might not be the correct time to take a step. So let's have a look. Actually, before we read more into deeper into that line, let's read this one and see what that says. The Son of Heaven receives instruction from heaven and becomes king. Whether there is instruction from heaven depends on the wishes of people. Those who oppose the wishes of people oppose the will of heaven. It is certain that they will be abolished by the new one authorized by heaven. Okay. Yeah, everyone needs to be on board, like all the people around you. And this is also the mutual influence, right? If you don't have people around you to stand with you, where you've got mutual influence, where there's a lot of giving and taking, well, then this is not the correct time to move forward, to do anything, okay? Then you need to continue cultivating your inner, your virtues, like compassion and love and understanding, and illuminate the situation, and then start working on yourself. So if you're feeling anger in a situation, transmute that into acceptance of the situation, which is the first step into forgiveness, which is a much more difficult step many times, right? But yes, acceptance, this is the situation, and then letting go can be very difficult. I find it difficult many times to let go, okay? But we need to do that, and then make sure we have the right people around us. If we don't have anyone around us that are supporting us, we've got everyone up against us, well, then maybe this is not the will of heaven. We need to be in mutual influence, right? Then that becomes the will of heaven. So, initial line, the bottom line represents the dawn of a revolution. The time is not mature. One should not act lightly. So this is the beginning, okay, of the revolution. He should consolidate his forces as if binding them with a hide of a yellow ox. The ox is represented by the yielding line at the second place in the middle of the lower gua. The color of the middle place is yellow. A yielding line belongs to the family of earth, and yellow is also the color of earth, right? Which is represented by a cow. Thus, a hide of a yellow ox is used as an image. The bottom line is a yang element at the yang place. It does not correspond with the yang element at the fourth place. Although it is firm, it is at the bottom of the gua and has no correspondent. In this situation, one is not able to act productively. One should not take action in such circumstances. No, so we need to get this clarity, illuminate the situation, get this clarity, cultivate our inner peace so that we can take wise steps forward rather than just rushing. So we are moving into revolution, right? It's metal. Abolishing the old is metal. Although the image is speaking of earth. So, well, it's got many layers. So let's say, yeah, it's abolishing the old. So, and then, but cultivate this and make sure we have the right people around us. So let's look a little bit at mutual influence. Mutual influence then will lead into long lasting, right? If we've got a solid group of people around us, it's like going into marriage, right? And if we are in a real, any relationship that we have mutual influence, where we are listening to each other, you know, and responding to each other, and inspiring each other, well, that would lead to a long-lasting relationship of any sort. And it could be a group of people, it could be just two people, or anything, right? Let's read this one. After heaven and earth have come into existence, there are myriad beings. After myriad beings have come into existence, there are male and female. After male and female are distinguished, there comes the relationship of husband and wife. After husband and wife have united together, there arrive father and son. After they are father and son, they come ruler and minister. After they are ruler and minister, they come high and low. After high and low exist, the etiquette can be appropriately practiced. Together and mutual. Okay, so this is talking about the balance, right? Husband and wife, there's two sides, right? There's husband and wife, there's a father and a son, there's the older and the younger, right? Which is true even for a mother and a daughter. It could be a mother and a son, or a father and a daughter as well. Right? We've got to remember that this is from the ancient times as well. So, after high and low exist, an etiquette can be appropriately practiced. So, if we're in balance, then we've got this mutual influence. Then we will be able to take appropriate actions. Okay. Let's have a look at the decision. Mutual influence, prosperous and smooth, favorable to be steadfast and upright. Take a maiden as a wife, good fortune. Let's see what it says in the commentary. Xian mutual influence. The gentle is above, the firm below. So the gentle, so the firm, the mountain, the gentle, which is like gentle movement, lake, and the firm is mountain, which is like solid, right? The love of the two induces and corresponds. A union is formed, keeping still and joyful. So keeping still, the mountain is keeping still. Dewy is joy, right? So keeping still and joyful. The man subordinates himself to the woman. For this reason, there's prosperity and smoothness. In being steadfast and upright, taking a maiden as a wife brings good fortune. Heaven and earth influence each other. Then all things take shape and come into being. The holy sage influences the hearts of people. Then the world attains peace and harmony. Contemplating their mutual influence, we can see the nature of heaven and earth and all beings. Yes, so this is it. Union, like with the people around you, as we are in the beginning of a revolution, in whichever situation you are in, right? So this is the time. This is not the time to move forward. This is the time to keep on cultivating this relationship with the people around you in a mutual influence way, like giving and taking. Keeping whatever is not good outside, that's fine, right? Do that. Oh, that must be done, right? That's like boundaries. But allowing also what's good to come in. Okay, so no big walls around here. We're not, this is our little group here, blah, blah, blah. That's not it, what we're doing. We are receiving when it's correct to receive and blocking when it's correct to block, right? Boundaries is very important. And then just encountering, which is, we are encountering. And this is, receiving. So when somebody comes into your life, when we're encountering something good, we bring it, we allow it in, right? So we're allowing that. But this actually encountering comes after eliminating. And we're eliminating what's old, right? That what's not good, we're eliminating, putting up boundaries towards what is not good, but then we also allow this encountering to come in, because when we have the correct people around us, then we can take a very good action, extraordinary action. We can move forward together, right? And then if we have many wise people together, there's greater wisdom, because we wise in different ways. I might know lots of things about something, and somebody else might know lots of things about something entirely different. And then when we are together and we're listening to each other and respecting each other, although we know about different things, but we're not saying, oh, I'm really great because I know all this, right? We are still listening and taking in, and then treasuring this wisdom of other people. And then we can make really wonderful decisions and to move forward in peace and harmony and start to create a world of peace and harmony, being part of that movement and bringing some peace and harmony to this world. Okay, so that's the reading for today. I hope it has been of benefit. I wish you a beautiful day ahead.